45th birthday was observed on Wednesday, 15th February, but only by Baba bathing, feeding, and clothing 20 mad and destitute men, which Baba declared was an excellent celebration and wished he could do every day. Leaving Ajmer on 27th February, the group arrived at Jaipur 3 hours later, where they stayed at the new hotel. Jaipur is known as the Pink City because the stones in the surrounding area are that color, and all its buildings are of various shades of pink. Here, Baba took the women to the Maharaja's palaces, Hawa Mahal, Amber Mahal, the main city palace, Chandra Mahal, Jai Mandir, Dilaram, and Mohan Gardens, as well as to the zoo at the public gardens and to the Jantar Montar, an observatory built in the Middle Ages. Rano remembered also going to the Arts of Different Nations Museum, a small museum with exquisite artifacts. They wanted to see everything, but as usual, Baba strode swiftly through the place. I still remember walking backwards, trying to catch a last glimpse. Baba left so quickly that the attendant at the museum ran after them, saying to them, Sahib had left his walking stick in the lobby. Baba and the women left Jaipur on the first march for Ujjain, which was reached the following day. Here they visited the Hindu temple of Maha Kali, Great Mother Kali, and continued to Dewas, where they spent the night at a dak bungalow. On 3rd March, they arrived in Bhopal, City of Lakes, and checked into the Ruby Hotel for a 9-day stay. Touring the city, they saw the beautiful Bhopal Lake and they visited Moti Masjid, Juma Masjid, gold spikes adorn its minarets, and the palace of the Nawab, designed by a Frenchman. On 6 March, they drove to nearby Sanchi, where Baba showed them, I can't find it, showed them a
You know,
famous Buddhist stupa, which housed some of Buddha's ashes. Buddha never lived here, Baba stated. His ashes are buried in thousands of places, this being one of them. Later, his disciples came here and meditated, and etc., died and were buried here. But Sarnath was the real place of Buddha. That same day, Baba referred to the political situation, saying, all miscreants will be wiped out, everything will be set right. Later, when they returned to Bhopal, a mass echoed Baba's words, pointing to him as he was walking down the street and saying, he will uproot all these troublemakers and set everything right. As rumors of war circulated, the political situation was not the only thing breaking down. The health of the blue bus travelers was too. Bonnie became ill, and Baba instructed Katie to give her orange juice at 3 p.m., reasoning that there was still plenty of time. Katie went for a bath first. Baba returned at 5 minutes to 3 and asked whether she had given the juice. No, Baba, Katie replied. I was just about to do so. Baba was not pleased. Katie should have fulfilled his orders first before taking her bath. Baba was also ailing with severe diarrhea. Moreover, Helen contracted colitis and was hospitalized on 8th March. Irene was ordered to stay with her since Helen could only speak German. Irene
Oh,
had for her.
uh, excuse me, Matt. Could you, Josh, could you also read the sidebars?
Sure. This
Thanks.
was probably the museum inside the city palace, which boasts an extensive collection of rare manuscripts, carpets, costumes, textiles, weapons, Mughal and Rajasthani miniature paintings, rare astronomical works, and objects of art.
Oh, there might be another one above there, Tina.
yeah.
Not sure. Yeah.
Hala Mahal Palace of the Winds is a five-story pink sandstone building with 953 honeycombed windows built to enable ladies of the royal household to watch street life and processions unobserved behind marble screens. Wow. Irene had to cook for her and nurse her back to health, which was not easy given Helen's nature. Helen had a difficult temperament to begin with, said Irene, and colitis is a disease that causes depression. So it was hard for her. Norina, the only other person who spoke German, and I took turns staying with her. I had night duty. At night, there were big cockroaches, frogs, and mice in the room. Adi Sr. and Golmai were sent to Nasik on the 10th of March, where Franny's intermittent fast and precarious mental state were a continued cause of concern. Pillamai left for Karachi the day after, leaving Helen in the hospital with Irene. Baba and the other men and women, Mundali, left for Sagar on 12th March, where they resided in Dock Bungalow. Can someone else read now?
Sure. You want to take over, Eugene?
Delighted. Baba took the women to see Chakra, Circular Lake, and Aspatal Hospital, Ghat. He informed them that Sagar was where one of his masters, Tajuddin Baba, had received God realization while serving in the army there. On 13 March, Baba and his group left and arrived in Jabalpur the same day, where at once Baba set out in search of musks. Did Josh read the sidebar? I'm not
No.
sure. Okay, good. I'll read it. Nadine might have been another person qualified to nurse Helen, but the two did not get along. At the PWD, where they had shared a room, Nadine had fidgeted all the time. For someone like Helen, this was torture. More fundamentally, Helen felt that Nadine always pushed her way to be near Baba, which Helen resented. Back to the text. Kitty, who had herself been ill in Ajmer, kept in touch with Irene and Helen, writing on 16 March. Just as soon as Helen is able to travel, Baba wants you to bring her here. We have a lovely house, lofty, airy, and quiet. I know you'll both love it. There is also a large garden and lovely walks. We may stay here for some time because it is ideal for Baba's work, and he can visit Mandla weekly to arrange for the proposed Universal Center. Narina and Mani both have a cold of some kind, and Baba needs a rest badly. Baba sends his special love and a kiss and says that he knows how much you love him and long to be near him. Kitty wrote again the next day. Baba asked me to write to you both and to send you both his best love and blessings. He reads every day the report of Helen's health, and Irene writes so fully and clearly each detail that Baba and we all are able to picture just how she is. Nevertheless, Baba does so long for you both to be here with him and hopes it will be soon. He says, "So, Helen, do your best to feel well and happy and help the doctor all you can by not worrying. You will get well and get stronger than you have been for some time. I will help you. I am always helping you, and I am always with you. I am so happy that you both talk of me and love me as you do. I know that when you are feeling weak and ill, you cannot consciously think of me, but that does not matter. Unconsciously, you are still thinking of me and can never be far away from me. For are we not all one and only separated for the purpose of my work, for the upliftment of humanity? You will both be so happy in this lovely house and garden. There are so many, many flowers, shrubs, trees, and also a vegetable patch. There are plenty of water taps, electric lights, etc. The air is so fresh and the climate clear. Baba has a lovely room with his own bathroom and another room adjoining, all separate and complete. This is ideal for Baba's work with Muhammad and the mad. In his bathroom, he bathes the mad, and in the extra room, he feeds them. Also, the Mandali eat there too. Tomorrow, 6 mad come. Muhammad comes daily for his food here and bath. His special treatment for the moment seems to be 6 big tomatoes, which he cuts with a knife. Of course, Baba feeds him himself. I don't know if there was a sidebar on the previous page, Tina. Can you remember? Ah, yeah. Nadine might. No, I read it already. Yeah. It's
Okay.
about, yeah. I wonder if somebody else would like to read. Uh,
Yes, we
Barbara
have a
W.
number of people. What?
Barbara W.
Yeah, is that Barbara Witherwax?
Yes, sorry, I was doing housework and so I don't have anything turned on, but let me see if I could sit on this unmade bed. Where are we? Oh, feed himself. I see. Um, all right. You can hear me okay?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Okay. So I start with Norina.
Norina, you could, or you could read the sentence about Mohammed.
Okay.
6 mad come.
Okay. Tomorrow, 6 mad come. Mohammed comes for his. Sorry, I was hearing. Is that an echo or am I
I
echo?
don't know. I don't hear an echo.
Okay, it could be my situation. Okay, Mohammed comes daily for his food here and bath. His special treatment for the moment seems to be 6 big tomatoes, which he cuts with a knife. Of course, Baba feeds him himself. Narina is still in bed with a slight attack of dysentery, but will be up in a day or so. She is resting for a few days. Mani is quite okay. Nani is still in great pain from arthritis and not her cheerful self at all. Hurry up and come to cheer her up. The others are all okay. Today, Baba was not so happy because no Mad came. No Mad, so we have his nice gramophone for him. The girls have all read your letters and are always so interested in the news. They have a nice little suite with room for four across from the kitchen and another room for Naja and Walu, plus a veranda, quite private and all next to Baba. So they are really very happy. We are staying here 3 months for certain because everything is so ideal for Baba's work. Now it is bedtime, and all send good night to you both. I'm hearing an echo, which is hard. It's hard for me to read when I am hearing myself
I
back.
don't hear an echo.
I know I am though. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but do you want me to continue?
I can mute myself.
No, 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 you can't. If you're the I don't think you should. And
I I
I don't
think sometimes it helps.
if you want to try, but you're the leader, so I don't know if you should mute. Um, okay, so I'll continue for a bit.
Yeah, that worked. That worked, Tina.
Oh, so you could hear it too?
Yeah, I could hear a little echo too.
Oh, okay.
Since
All right.
Tina muted, it's disappeared.
Okay. On 22 March, Kitty wrote, "Well, every day the girls sit out from 8 to 9, and it is then that I have time to write. First, I read your letters to them, as Baba likes them to have all the news from you both. They too are also very interested in all that you have to say. All feel that as much as we want you both quickly here, Helen must be well on the way to recovery because she cannot have as good nursing here or the doctor's advice. Today, Narina has a temperature of 100, but all along has had no diarrhea. I think with her, it has been over fatigue and reaction, coupled with a chill. Heidi looks well, but has that peculiar pain in the back of her head. Naja is a little run down and spent yesterday in bed. Nani still has much pain in her hands and feet. Nadine is not so grand. I think it is nothing but a reaction from the tension of being with Baba when he was working so hard. It is not natural that we should all feel it. And when, sorry, it is not natural that we should all feel it. And when the work is over, we naturally release and are no longer keyed up. Tell Helen that it is my experience during the 8 years of being with Baba that after each visit of 8 or 10 days or 8 or 10 weeks, I have felt completely used up and exhausted. And then after resting, I have again felt better than ever before. Baba takes for his work our energy. When the work is over, he returns our energy, revitalized, and we feel more energetic than before. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes,
Okay.
please keep going.
Okay. A few days later, Kitty wrote, "All is still not well. Narina has a little fever and is again in bed. Naja is tired. Mani okay. Hetty fair. Nadine fair. Nani a little better. So tell Helen she is not the only one on the sick list. We all think she has stood the time in India with Baba wonderfully well. All she says is so true. It is a definite strain to live with the high tension one does. Living as close to a perfect master. All say the same. Again, it is very difficult to live in a group life with continual noise around. And thirdly, with an ever constant changing routine. All is very difficult, and it is not easy to adapt oneself. Do you remember in Mandla, Baba said that if she could stand it, and only he knew how difficult it would be a great victory and show that she was really reaching for truth. I remember the occasion so well. Oh, how beautiful.
There's Mara with
Yeah.
a dog,
Kippy.
Kitty, and there's some other Baba lovers on the Blue Bus tour, and possibly Mahabaleshwar. With Khorshid, Mani, and Mara.
What year are we in, Tina? What year?
I don't know.
38?
1938.
38? Oh, we're still on the Blue Bus tour.
Baba lending a helping hand. Helping Nani. Blue Bus Journey, 1938, 1939. Taragar, Ajmer, February 1939.
So Nadine is the tallest lady?
I don't know.
Olives.
I don't know who is taller. Mara, Kitty, Baba, Khorshid, Norina, Nadine, and that was a photograph taken by Mani. I think Norina was very tall.
I think Narina was the tallest, but Nadine was very tall too, not as tall.
The photos are
With
wonderful.
training in Nasik, 1937. Petty squabbles. Who would like to read?
I'll read the squabble.
Okay. I'm going to mute and go back to folding laundry.
Petty squabbles. On Meher Baba's return to Jabalpur, Erich was sent to bring his family, Gaimai, Manu, Meru, Merwan Jesawala, from Nagpur, and they arrived on 19th March 1939. Their young cousins, Sam and Dadi Karawala, joined them. Manu and Katie were assigned the duty of cooking for all. Excuse me. The sidebar says little Merwan and his cousins' strongest memory of their stay is of being intimidated by Rano, who shouted at them over being too rambunctious while she was trying to wash the blue bus. That same day, however, Baba left for Nasik. Franny's emotional stability had steadily eroded during her recent pregnancy. She was not eating or drinking, being still extremely upset with Baba for not taking her on the tour, the Blue Bus tour, with the other women Mandali. She insisted on seeing Baba. So at this time of world crisis, Baba had to leave his important must work in Jabalpur and journey to Nasik in the summer heat. About such matters, Baba remarked, Jesus was crucified once, but I am crucified every day, every hour. And there's a footnote. I don't know where it is. Oh, there. Lord Meher. It tells the page. When Baba arrived in Nasik, he found that Franny's health had deteriorated from her 18-day fast, and she was not properly caring for her baby son, Jangu. Another footnote, it says Jangu's given name was Jahangir, after Mehera and Franny's father. Afterwards, Baba left for Meherabad. Wait a minute, I skipped something. Baba made her drink milk. Franny made her drink milk, which he fed her himself. This broke her fast and calmed her situation temporarily. Baba promised to call her when she was well, but as it turned out, Franny never fully regained her normal rationality. And the sidebar says it was also settled that Rustam would leave for an undisclosed location. That's Franny's husband, Rustam. So Rustam is leaving for an undisclosed location known only to Baba, who would assume responsibility for his family's support. Afterwards, Baba left for Meherabad, where he met a few of the men Mandali and then went to Pune to see his family. Baba asked Shireen Mai to call her sister Daulamasi to the house, where he blessed her. Within a year or so, Daulamasi dropped her body. It would be the last time she ever saw Baba. Baba next traveled to Bombay, where Dina Talati was distraught over the recent sudden death of her husband, Naval, who was just 46. Baba urged Dina to let out her pent-up grief by crying aloud, and she wailed, "Baba, Baba, Baba," over and over again. Naval Talati was one of Meher Baba's early followers. Before that, however, he visited Upasni Maharaj often and was among those who tormented Merwanji when he came to Sakori, as they were jealous of Merwanji's special closeness to Maharaj. Naval and other Parsi youngsters were as rude as possible to Merwanji, treating him as a servant by tossing him their plates disdainfully when they were finished eating and ordering him to wash them, which Merwanji did without a word of protest. Later, when Naval accepted Baba as his master, his regret at his earlier actions made him all the more responsive to serving Baba properly. On 25th March, Baba returned to Jabalpur. Gulmai and Masaji arrived several days later. Shireen Mai and Jal were also expected soon. Although Baba used the conflict between his two, quotes, mothers, end quotes, to bring the, quotes, rubbish, end quotes, of their individual egos into the open, where it could then be disposed of, at this time, Baba needed harmony around him for his must work and was irked by the petty quarreling among the Mandali. That was the name of this chapter, petty quarreling. Also, at the end of March, Padri brought the, quotes, Meherabad Zoo, end quotes, to Jabalpur in a trailer hitched to the back of Elizabeth's car. The zoo was augmented with two mixed breed puppies, Bingo and Jingo. which Baba gave to Elizabeth. Helen had recovered from her illness, and she and Irene rejoined the group in Jabalpur. A few weeks later, however, Baba sent Helen Dam and Haiti Mertens back to Switzerland, where Irene stayed on, while Irene stayed on. Several other close followers came, such as Arnavas and Nargis Dadachanji and Goher. Since Franny was unwell and unable to cope with raising a family, Chanji brought Meru and Nagu from Nasik. 1-year-old Jangu was brought a few weeks later by his ayah. His aunt, Sunamasi, was instructed to help look after him. The sidebar says, later Baba told Khorshid, who was fond of her cousin, Rustam's children, to oversee the baby's care. 1-year-old Jangu was brought a few weeks later. I said that. On Sunday, 9th of April, Baba permitted Marwan and Sam's Navjot ceremony to be performed by a local priest. Sam's mother, Banumasi, came from Bombay for the occasion. Before her arrival, Shireen Mai asked Gai Mai, Banumasi's sister, to write to her to bring fried pomfret, a sea fish from Bombay. Gai Mai reminded Shireen Mai of Baba's strict orders about a plain vegetarian diet in the ashram. But Shireen Mai insisted. Gai Mai had been ordered by Baba to serve Shireen Mai and fulfill her request. So she wrote to her sister. Banumasi brought the fish to Jabalpur, and Gai Mai quietly took it, and after heating it, served it to Shireen Mai. Shireen Mai, but before Shireen Mai could even put the first morsel in her mouth, out of nowhere, 2 cats appeared and pounced on her. Shireen Mai had an aversion to cats and pushed them off. The cats lunged for the plate of seafood and made off with it. Just then, Baba entered the room and gestured to Gai Mai. What's that strong smell of fish? Gai Mai had to confess, having called for it. Baba began to admonish her for breaking his order, but Shireen Mai intervened, saying, don't you dare scold her, Merag. I ordered the fish. Baba asked Shireen Mai why she had done so despite his orders to the contrary. And the usual tussle between mother and son ensued. In the end, Baba stated, it was I who came in the form of the cats to save you from violating my order. Shireen Mai bitterly complained to him, you never allow me to enjoy anything. Baba was away from the ashram much of the time, doing important must work. But on 21st April, he went on an 11-day liquid fast, declaring that many momentous events would soon take place all over the world. During the fast, Baba told Mani that he wanted her to put on a skit in 1 week. He gave her the plot, which used Neville Chamberlain, Adolf Hitler, and Benito Mussolini as characters. Rano, being tall and thin, took the part of the British Prime Minister, Chamberlain, carrying his distinctive umbrella. Mani became Hitler. I need more words, Tina. Mani became Hitler with a mustache plastered on, wait a minute, with a curl plastered on her forehead. And Katie, who was plump and round-faced, was the Italian dictator Mussolini. Meru and Nagu were Albanian princes who had to flee their country. The parody was performed before Baba on the 3rd of May. Afterwards, Norina told Mani that she was such an accomplished actress. If she was in America, she would be a star. Exactly 4 months later, World War II broke out. During this time, Rano, who had done only 2 charcoal head studies of Baba previously, began working on her first portrait of Baba. Baba also took time out from his must work to go on an excursion with the women to Marble Rocks, where he emphasized how fortunate they were to be in his company so informally, saying that it was because of many lifetimes spent performing austere penances that they were with him now. And the sidebar, I'm going to read it. The painting now hangs in Kaikabad's family quarters on Meherabad Hill, although Ranu had no idea how it got there, as she did not give it to them. They had been freezing in Jabalpur during the beginning of the Blue Bus tour, but now it was summertime, and their 2-month stay was unbearably hot. Mehera related, "We couldn't sleep at night and were never comfortable. We had to use the mosquito nets also. As there were many mosquitoes, Nani, Norina, and Natine sent for couscous, koi matting, hung it over the windows, and splashed it with buckets of water. The doors had to be kept shut. Each one took turns sprinkling water on the couscous. They put sheets on the floor to lie down. There were no fans. Before returning to Meherabad, we went on to Nagpur, which was worse. They left for Nagpur on the 15th May, the height of summer. Baba, Mehera, Mani, and Shireen Mai rode in Elizabeth's car. The blue bus, driven by 2 of the Mandali, followed with the others, including Meru and Nagu. Mohammed, Gustaji, and the other men returned to Meherabad by train, while the Jesawala family remained in Jabalpur. And the sidebar says, baby Jangu, who was seriously ill with diphtheria, also remained behind. His condition became life-threatening, and he had to be hospitalized. Baba instructed Jal Karawala and Narina to make sure that the infant received the best possible treatment. To avoid the intense heat of the day, Baba and the group woke at 2 a.m. and began driving while it was still dark. Monty remembered looking out the windows as they drove, musing about the others on the road. It always intrigued me, thought Monty, when we passed people in the car who turned their heads and saw Baba as our car went by. They don't know what they have received, I would think, since just the sight of the avatar is rare good fortune. 2 days were spent at the government rest house in Nagpur, where it was, where you need to lower it a little. Wait, no, you don't. I'm fine. 2 days were spent at the government rest house in Nagpur, where it was so hot that the women put on wet clothes to keep cool. But the clothes dried within minutes. From there, they went on by stages to Koldabad, where one of Baba's masters, Sai Baba, had spent his youth and achieved God realization in a nearby cave. They stayed in another rest house in Kuldadad, and Baba took the women to the ancient Hindu and Buddhist caves at Ellora. Saibar says, from a basaltic hillside, Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain monks took more than 5 centuries to chisel out by hand these 34 caves and to decorate them. So anyway, they went to these caves in the morning and afternoon on the 18th of May, where Mani had an unusual experience. Mani said, it was a jostle and crowded for the whole lot of us to get inside the caves. Baba usually carried the alphabet board under his arm. I would be nearby in case he wanted to say anything. In one of the Buddhist caves, he took out the board and dictated, I am Buddha. It was as if these words were the only thing in the cave, as if the whole place were empty, except for, I am Buddha. I am Buddha. It kept reverberating. It filled the place so much that there was nothing but waves of I am Buddha. The cave was empty, but for those words, as if time and space were suspended for a moment. Then the feeling left. Baba walked with us around the cave and then out. On 20 May, the group left for Lanavla, stopping at Toka on the way. Baba remarked, today we will have a very adventurous journey. He wished to show the Westerners where the Prem Ashram had been located in 1928. But the bus became stuck and had to be tugged across the river by water buffaloes. The women waded across the shallow water, holding each other's hands. In Lanavla, Baba took them to Walvan and another nearby lake, and up to a point with a panoramic view. Near Ryewood Park, he pointed to a spot where he and his Pune school chums had played marbles and flown kites on their holidays. The group left Lanavla on 25 May and arrived in Meherabad the same day, having been gone for 6 months. After a week, Nehru and Nagu returned to Nasik for the new school term. Baidu and his wife Soltun, their 2 daughters Daula and Sarwar, and a son Feridun, arrived and were housed in the Meherabad family quarters. Originally, they were to have traveled from Persia with Dalit Mai in March, but Baidu's oldest daughter had fallen ill and died. Baidu had been deeply depressed over it, but Baba sent him a message of condolence. Baba said, "Those who die thinking of me come to me. They are liberated from the chain of birth and death and see me perpetually. It is because you cannot see her that you feel the separation. If you feel sorry, feel not for the dead, but for the living who are in precarious conditions because of impending war." Having recently arrived from Persia, Soltun was trying to learn Gujarati. Does someone want to continue? Having received, who would like to?
I can continue.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Having recently arrived from Persia, Soltun was trying to learn Gujarati. She made Baba laugh by mispronouncing and confusing certain Gujarati words. For example, when asked how she was feeling, she said kachad, mule, instead of chakar, dizzy. Soltun's naivete gave rise to some amusing anecdotes also. One evening, after Margaret had come home from England, Soltun was roaming around the ashram when she went upstairs to Margaret and Rano's room. She greeted them and then, in the semi-dark, bowed reverently to what she thought was a picture of Baba on Margaret's bedside table. It turned out to be a picture of Donald Duck, a favorite of Margaret's. And on the sidebar, Margaret once joked, "I have 2 loves in my life, Meher Baba and Donald Duck." Rano was responsible for passing along information regarding the women's health to Dr. Nilu, who advised any treatment when necessary. Once Nergiz Kotwal, who had a sniffle but did not know English idioms well, told Rano, "My nose is leaking." Another day, Nergiz felt warm and asked Rano for the bottle of fever, meaning the thermometer. Naja pointed to her lower back and said, something here, and then pointed to her head and repeated the same thing. Baba had a good laugh over such confusion. Due to the language difficulties, Mansari was given the duty of collecting this information for Rano and reported it to her every day. However, Mansari was not allowed to ask Mehera about her health. Only Rano was supposed to do that. But once Baba did tell Mansari to give Mehera some cold pills, Baba would please Mehera from the slightest things to the biggest, Mansari recalled, sometimes even in petty things. And on the sidebar, when Naja began writing bizarre chits in English, Baba asked that they be read aloud, as Naja could not spell. He took great delight in hearing Naja misspelled shopping lists. But as Baba had told them at the PWD bungalow, everything except God is petty. And as God, Baba paid attention to the smallest details. For instance, everything ordered from the bazaar had to pass his approval. A daily shopping list of provisions prepared by Kitty was personally scrutinized by Baba before, if he approved it. He handed the list to Sunamasi, the gatekeeper. She in turn gave it to Vishnu, the bazaar man, who never came inside the compound at Upper Meherabad, but stood outside it near the elevated tank. In the ashram, noted Mani, whatever was needed, whatever we wanted, had to go through Baba, always. We never did anything directly. We never just ordered things. Not only did we not go out shopping, we did not call for things through anyone but Baba, who gave the order to Vishnu or someone else. Kitty tried to get past Baba's watchful eye when she wanted to order something extra. According to Kitty, Irene was still a growing child at 22. Maybe someone else would want to take over while they're barking.
Irene was still a growing child at 22 and should have something more substantial to eat so that she would get sufficient nutrition. But Baba did not approve anything extra for her. Mani, who was a year younger than Irene, thought to herself at the time, if Irene is a growing child, what am I? But then Kitty changed her tactics and used Mani to get what she wanted for Irene. Kitty approached Mani and said, you need to take Horlicks, in parentheses, a malted milk, a malted protein mix. I do? Asked Mani gullibly. Yes, you're doing so much writing, you must keep up your strength. So Mani agreed, and under the excuse that it was for Mani, Kitty was able to order the Horlicks and give some to Irene also. Baba found out about it. Who is taking Horlicks? He asked one day. Mani said that she was. How many times did you take it? Only twice, Mani replied. Then where did the whole jar go? There was silence until Irene blurted out, I took it, Baba. He was not pleased. Besides extra or luxury items, if there were ever a repetition on the daily bazaar list, an item that had been ordered recently, Baba asked, what is this? Who needs this again? Tina, you want to take a turn?
I don't know if I'm going to be echoing.
No, you're not.
Okay. Where did you leave off?
At the very bottom of the page, page 489. You got to scroll down.
Besides extra or luxury items, if there were ever a repetition on the daily bazaar list, an item that had been ordered recently, Baba asked, what is this? Who needs this again? Such attention to detail once brought out a conflict between Norina and Nadine. While checking over the shopping list, Baba noticed that shoe polish, which was considered a luxury item, was being ordered again. More shoe polish, he asked. What do you do? Eat it? It came out that Norina and Nadine, who had been sharing a tin of shoe polish, it came out that Norina and Nadine had been sharing a tin of shoe polish. But Norina was so accustomed to her extravagant way of life in the world that she took a blob of shoe polish and forgot to put the tinfoil lid securely back on over the top, which made the remaining shoe polish dry out. When Nadine, according to her careful nature, came to use the shoe polish and take sparingly just a dab and brush it on, she found it was dry. This became a source of conflict between the princess and the countess, but neither wanted to mention it to Baba. They thought Baba didn't notice such things, Mani said, but no. Baba called everyone together, and at first everything seemed normal. But Baba asked Nadine, "What's the matter?" "Nothing," she replied. "Come on, out with it." In his own masterly way, but Baba brought the conflict out. Mani continued. He let it come out, and then he said, "Now forget it." That's the first injunction. Forget it. Even before forgiving, forgetting is important. Now forget it and embrace each other. We are all looking over them silently, at them silently, promising ourselves we'll never be in such a situation. Never, ever, ever. We're going to be very careful. We hold our breath as if neither of them is moving. Snap, snap goes Baba's fingers. "What is it?" I said. "Embrace. What's happening?" I said, "Embrace. What's happening?" Nadine puts her hand up as if lead weights had been attached to it. The moment she does that, Norina puts both arms out and they embrace. In the evening, when Nadine was disturbed, in the evening, when Nadine and I were having a walk in the garden, Nadine was disturbed over the day's events. As she looked up at the moon and the stars, she said, "How I wish it had been something spiritual, something beautiful, something worth it, but shoe polish?" I said, "Nadine, Baba does not neglect even the tiniest thing, even the littlest thing that serves him. The shoe polish simply served Baba to tell you what he wanted to say." Katie enlarged on this point. If you keep things to yourself and kept things to yourself and didn't bring them out, Baba assembled everybody and probed and poked until the whole thing came out. It would burst like a volcano. Whatever differences people had between them, Baba nullified everything and asked them to embrace each other. Baba didn't want anything smoldering inside. "Forget everything. Now embrace each other," he would say. Mehru Irani, observed the same thing when she joined the ashram. Naturally, with so many people living together in the ashram, things did not go smoothly or amicably every day as they should. But if there was an altercation or a disagreement, Baba did not want us to harbor anger towards the other person, but rather he wanted us to be free the heart from ill feeling and forgive each other and be friends again. I'll stop there.
That's a good place to start and stop.
Yeah, I have to make a note that that was 391.
Yeah. But that's PDF. I really wish we'd state the year we start, because between reading Lord Mayor and this one, it just gets me confused.
I'm coming to Myrtle Beach next week. I'm coming to Myrtle Beach next week, so I'll have to postpone these classes.
Oh, for how long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You know what? I could do it the week, not next week, but the week after, if you wanted.
Yeah, if you could, that would be great.
But then you should tell Angela.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Maybe
let
you
me
wanna
know
stop the
how I
recording.
share it, because I have a feeling it's not the way